Once again, on the wheel is podcast. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, yeah. Check it out. We got a real good show for you tonight. I promise you that. Oh, yeah. Mm. Oh, yeah. We got a real good show. Show tonight is going to be the WIP. Be you and dominate you show. Check it out. All right. Like to tell you, I'm sure y'all saying, well, what you mean by that, Denny? Well, let me explain. We're gonna we're gonna be a little serious tonight. We're gonna be a little precise, very precise tonight. We have a lot to discuss because being you has to start with understanding who you are, who your mom and your daddy. Like I tell you, who is your mother and your father? Who? Who? Sound like a loud, huh? Who? You know. But think about it for real. Add add a little depth to your thoughts concerning yourself, knowing that at any point in time you may be all you got. You understand? Where are your redundancies? How do you fall in? With your space. How do you fall in with your alignment? How do you fall in with how you're gonna, live and construct your life when you feel like there are no friends? There are no alliances. There are no saviors. Everybody want to save you. But in discovering the whole point of the savior story was for you to learn how to save yourself so that you can learn and manifest the principles that are actually bestowed upon you, not upon you. So let's get into the show. Check it out. All right. Like I said, the first show is Be You, Dominate show. Be You and Dominate. We finna get all into this shit. Oh yeah, we finna get all into it. Yep. No music. Maybe a little. But check it out. All right, I'm done stalling with you. I'm done fucking around. Let's go. So, first subject, we're gonna talk about the birth of a white dominance, starting with a black vision. Seeing is not always believing. It's not always believing. If you think about it, you know, there's no such thing. If your mentality is only dominating through force, power, that is not an act of power. Force is not an act of power. You should also always think about power versus force. Force can never be respected, it will always be undermined. Force will always be challenged. Force will always be hated. if we're all free will beings, who has the ability to force anybody to do anything? Sometimes when people act with force, you're met with force. And sometimes your little act of force or your little gesture of power. But what if you flex your power, not recognizing the power of the person that you projected your power on? All right. You did what you did, and let me do what I do. Don't make no rules. Don't don't start talking like, well, no, let's set a precedent. Let me wait. We gotta do this. We gotta do this the right way. No. You said what you said. You don't get to choose. You don't get to pick and choose. No time. No time right now. Now it's my time. You understand? My time. How you get to choose? Nah. You did what you did, but you are frightened. Because when you even think about what I could do to you, you're damn near dead before I think about it. Because you already know. See, we have this thing in us called a connection. It's the thing that makes us human. Human is a very general term concerning the different kinds of humans. Let me explain. I told you. Look at my previous episodes, and I showed you this book, The Mismeasure of Man. Do you see the children? Do you see the children? One of those children are far more equipped in every facet of physicality and mental supremacy. That's that little black girl child. And you know it. I don't have to break it down for you. Go study it. I just showed you the book. Okay? Now, laws in this country are not written for the indigenous. Laws are meant to protect property and wealth of foreigners, just like in South Africa in apartheid. You know, let me show you. Let me show you what they do to create. And mind you, sometimes when you see white, you bet your ass you better include them blacks that don't like blacks. They are always there lurking in the shadows, acting as if they are your friends. They build HBCUs. They tell you that the American Indian is obsolete. Oh, just gone. The people that we're looking out for is the ones that came from Africa. The ones that the whites have sympathy for because those are their children. Because they said, you brought us here with you. Why can't you take care of us? We didn't ask to be here. Those are a lot of Africans. There are a lot of Caribbeans. There are a lot of South Americans, but very few North Americans. Let me explain. Simply because a lot of North Americans, due to how hostile we treated foreigners, they leave that out. They shipped us to Africa and they shipped us to the islands. And we started training the mentality and the perspective. And that, my people, was the birth of Pan Africanism. It was not the other way around. The African never gave a damn about the American from that perspective unless the European told him so, only to put him above, not knowing that before the presence of the European, the African, and the Amarucan had a wonderful relationship, brethren, great trade, great exchangeable relationships. But at the end of the day, the global north saw that not fit. So let's move on to our next subject matter. Oh, the black woman's ability to produce hate. I'll say that again. The black woman's ability to produce hate, not all, but some. Let me explain. I had a tough week. So I had a lot to really get off tonight. Indeed. So the reason why the black woman has so much ability to produce hate is because she's her ability to love so deeply, and that love is not returned to her. If you look at the works of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, and you have to study the Grimaldi tribe. The Grimaldi were the children that were born from two black people, and they were albinos. Now, when there is a solution for life, you bet your ass the black woman had it. That's why the black woman, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, wrote such a magnificent body of work right here, the ISIS Papers. You understand? Keys to the Colors. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Now, the wonderful thing about, let's say, all our African scholars that you don't understand, a lot of people don't understand because it's of your subconscious. The American Indian should be grateful for his mind of redundancy. What you can do once, you did again. What you did a multitude of times with people, the American Indian did again and again and again. It's just a problem with information as it travels. When it comes back, it's not the same story. Let me go a little further. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. She explained ball games that Americans created, black American Indians created. Might I add? You never hear about all these ball games coming out of Europe or Africa, anything like that. You hear about European basketball because of the connection to the Americas. You hear about, you know, all of these different creations and, the way the world has the ingenuity. If you look at the root word of ingenuity, it starts with the engines in America, the real ones. So, you got the Indians in the East, which they are what you would call, they'll say they're the first Indians, but that's not your name, and you know it. You know it. You're the dark people of the East, Northeast, Northeast. So you consider yourselves the Indo-Caucasian. And then the reason why I got a lot of Indian followers and subscribers that looking at this and they're saying, yeah, we have always admired and looked at you as until you were degraded by the white man. And so we followed suit with the white allegory. We were your champions from Morocco all the way to India. The colors. Look at Pakistan, Bangladesh, Tajikistan. All of the East mimicked the West, literally. So the colonization of the Caucasian. You still follow us. You still do what we do. But if you look at the mentality of what was produced from America, it was the rap music and the things, and we like, why are the Americans doing this? Because we have been under siege for 500 years. We can't apologize for being manipulated and having a gun to our head and a knife at our throat, gun to our head, knife at our throat at every turn, policemen on every corner. They manipulated our indigenous ingenuity and turned it into their favor, and the world believed them. The world thought what we were in egalitarian society still, and we were still holding strong. No, we have been walked back centuries in America. In America, you are the leader, so you walk the world back centuries. And the reason why is because of the overlay society that simply did two things, were very destructive to a natural, beautiful, wonderful people that had the world gleaming on us because of the way we treated each other and foreigners. With grace, love, humility, appreciation, what can you bring to the equation? We got a death murder coat brought to our front door. We were reclassified, and now you can actually say we have been re-civilized. Don't know who you are, don't have an inkling. You put a woman before a man. You put your child before your husband's. You put yourselves before your life. Why does that not make sense? Because you have lost your vision of living. Your cosplayers, Negropeans, globally, everybody mimicked the one that overtook the Amarucan, the indigenous American, the Olmec, the Mayan, the Aztec, the Natchez, the Choctaw, Chickasaw, the Powhatan, the Pamunkey, the Namasee, the Cherokee, the Creek, again, Choctaw, Chickasaw. Most importantly, Seminole, last stand. America has never defeated the indigenous. The Amarucans are undefeated. What America did by getting its ass whooped, we just started importing Europeans and overlaying, rewriting history and calling things and blatantly lying like they do now. If you see what's going on currently, this is only a perpetuation and a recreation of what the only thing that the European knows what to do: lie and recreate a lie. Lies have no roots. You understand now? Let's move on to our next point, please. Next little point we're going to make tonight. The sorrow of an indigenous mother has for her children. Well, you see, the black indigenous woman globally holds all the keys to all the kingdoms. She dates however she likes because she could take it. That's why they call her the strong black woman. When you date a white man, y'all like to talk all that shit about Shannon Sharp, right? But let's flip the script a little bit. How about you bed wenches? You know, that love to be choked and called, disgusting names and treated like cattle or a farm animal. And you get off on that. Makes you feel, I don't know how that could make you feel, but for you to lay with your daddy's killer, some but not all But if you don't know the history of that fellow, if you don't know the history of his father, if you don't know the history of his family, I guarantee you, you will be treated less than. Okay? So, you have a son. He will choose the allegiance of his father and love his mother and create an immense amount of confusion. Same thing for the daughter. When you don't put the education behind your intermingling, you're causing destruction because you're not being accountable. You don't get to live life as normal as it is because them kids grow up with long term traumas. Keep that in mind. Uh, so sorrowful. Next subject, the affectionate feeling of the love of black and white. Well, we've been around each other for 500 years. Some us of has evolved, black and white, and everything in between. Some of us are intelligent, black and white. Some of us are raised bad, horrible upbringing, regardless of economic status. Those are the variables, the extreme variables in America. Some interracial couples can survive anything this country got because they are powerful and they understand and they got each other's back, and they may not have a whole lot of money, but I guarantee you they are champions of their community. They are champions of their children. They are champions of their circumstance because that's true love. You understand that? Does that make a little difference? I think it does. It's called accountability. That's true love between black and white. Who gonna say something about it, huh? That's hate speech, see? They fought their mothers and fathers and they shown their children how they could stand as a family, regardless of outsiders. That's a family to me. Got no problem with that. Moving on to the next subject. The scorned mulatto. You hear the situation I just named, parents with accountability, and you see all these wonderful uh, biracial children out here. They're black kids because that's what they say. I'm black. I could stand in a white room and whites will say all kind of disgusting, nasty, grotesque things about the people that they're so jealous of. And they won't even acknowledge that I'm black. So they say, damn, there's no respect for these savages. They're like, it's remarkable how a person can wish they could set the tone for a civilized culture, but doesn't even have the fundamental values of being civilized. That starts with hygiene. That starts with respect. That starts with, just a how you doing? So when foreigners became here, it's the first time they ever seen foreigners treat them that way. So they adopted the foreigners' behavior. That's how you should treat me forever. Even though you shot my mother in her face. You adopted that's so grotesque. You've adopted fundamental civilized principles, claim them as your own, and treat everyone that doesn't look like you as if they are a stain when you walk around as a stain in complete shame, and you act as if it's only applicable to others and not you. That is some diabolical cognitive dissonance off the rails with no brakes. That shit crazy. Anyway, moving on to the next subject. Hmm. The sacred mulatto. Huh. It's so many. This is the same subject. I couldn't move on just yet. I had to get on this. But there are a flip side to this where so many uh, Negroes, I call them Negroes of origin, because a Negro follows up behind a culture and mimics it. That's a biracial person, back and forth, whichever way they choose. Now, an American is a Khan. A Khan is a king. A Negro is a Spanish derogatory term, as far as I'm concerned. Black people use, as far as I'm concerned, Negro, nigger, all that. If you're gonna call all of them, call all of them derogatory. We didn't create them. They meant other things. We control the narrative. So don't ever tell me who to call, say what to what, and who and why, because you don't know enough to talk to me and tell me what the fuck I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to do it. Watch your mouth. Anyway, let's go. Next subject. Yeah. Hatred for black skin, physical attributes, and the love of watching God work. The first thing that comes to mind to me is LeBron James on that album holding that white woman looking like a big old ass gorilla, and she is just he in love with her, like obsessed with first thing that comes to mind. They love to see God dance. They can't do it. They can get good at it, but it takes practice. You know, we're part of a family of humans. Skills to this shit. Hell, I grew up learning. I grew up learning how to dance. I grew up. I was a natural with all these things. All it takes is cultivation and understanding how much confidence you should have in yourself from a very young age, simply because it's you, the ultimate one, ninth ether. That's right. Yeah. See? Damn, man. Listen. Okay, so you love to mimic the intelligence. You love our hair. You love everything. You love every fabric in us. That's why suntan lotion exists. You have to mimic us because you're our children. Think about everything you do and be real with yourself and stop lying about it. Stop being so infuriated because you're a child and you can't do what your parents do. You ain't good enough yet. You damn sure don't listen. You don't have any vision, and you have to be taught these things, and it shows. Stop playing with your mom and your daddy, because that ass whooping coming. All you do is asking for it. You can't outthink your mama and your daddy, fool. When is that? When is that natural for you? Let me tell you. Let me explain something to you specifically, Caucasians. You will never outthink your mother and your father. It's out of order for humanity. But if you want to be so out of order for humanity and don't want to walk in your space that you should take your place, and you don't want to take your place, well, that's when your ass gonna get whooped. That's when you're gonna take your place. Some of y'all know it, and some of y'all gonna keep whooping each other's ass until that Caucasian get his point across that other Caucasian. Because you know what? This is a child fight. Parents stay out of children fights. Parents don't get into their children fights. They say y'all should work it out. Because when I gotta jump in, I promise you I'm gonna whoop your ass. All y'all asses. I promise you. Y'all think black folk playing? Why you think we stay out y'all way? Because that shit is childish. The white world leaders of the world, listen to me. Y'all asses are childish and children, and you should step your ass aside and let grown folks take their throne. Your ass be so out of line. You gonna make us get them beat y'all, whoop y'all. I ain't talking about no wars. Y'all got all the wars. Fuck all the wars. Talk. Have a conversation. Put it on the globe in front of the world and watch everybody take their rightful place. You're gonna see a whole lot of white black folks come home. That's why this is a human thing. Everybody that you think is white ain't white. And y'all, especially black folk, y'all know everybody that carry this skin tone don't mean a damn thing for them. Stop that shit. That's a farce. Y'all wasting time perpetuating bullshit. Because you don't want to understand it's a real human condition. And it's above some of y'all motherfuckers' head. But anyway, let's get to the next point. Okay, let me calm down. Let's get to the next point because we got to get the show done. All right? Next point is, if racism didn't exist, what should white people do? Grow up. Simple as that. That's the only thing. As fucking white people up so bad, they don't want to grow up. They're like, it's hard. You mean to tell me I can't talk shit and lie? I love lying. Lying is my way of life. How the fuck am I going to stop lying? If I stop lying, that means I don't exist. What? What? Oh, well, you said it, not me. Uh, Lying is detrimental. It is not a power. I repeat, lying is a detrimental consequence for the shit you do. Put in the universe. There's no connection. I think a lot of y'all starting to understand and realize that lying ain't good, man. Gotta stop that shit. If you're asked questions, you should tell the truth. And you notice a lot of times on the news anchors, and a lot of news anchors, and especially like FBI agents, they call them alphabet boys, but all they do is lie. So be careful what you wish for. The reason why people got a problem with people because they don't do shit right. They do shit wrong, and they claim it's right, but they have agendas, and those agendas are wrong. Be careful. That's all I'm saying, man. Hey, lies. You guys put the motherfucking lies out there. You really think they ain't gonna come back and see you? It's happening now, whether you know it or not. Are you fucking slow? I guess so. I don't know. Not for me to judge, but anyway. Black Americans, American Indians, are treated differently because we are the original people of this land. That's why we are treated like the underclass, the underbelly, the stain, go away. Because even the places where these Caucasians and so-called and adjacent Caucasians come from, and even blacks come from, they had the same people in their lands. They know them. They know them. Some of them come from them, and they say, "Oh my God, I can be white for the first time in the Americas." That's the Latin problem. That's the Latino problem in the Americas. Yeah, that's it. Wanting to be white adjacent and wanting to chase a fairy tale and not even show any appreciation. Don't give a fuck about the history here for the American Indian here, who's your brethren, by the way. But all you wanted is a leg above your brethren so you can spit in his face and say, it's true. You're nothing. You don't do shit. You walk around here and don't do nothing. You sell a drug. You sell a dope. You do this. And you don't even understand the oppressive, fucked up system you're under. So you rather be an ass licker and kisser than a cultivator and creator. I cultivate, I create homes. Only to kiss ass and suck dick to get more money. You don't cultivate shit. You send money. You don't do shit. And you hate. You take the position of the European here, which is also not an American. A European that migrated to America is not, again, an American. I can say that simply because I am an indigenous American. I don't come from nowhere else. Let's get that clear. Moving on. Next point. When the child of humanity acts out, well, we know borders are not real, only to the power structure. We know our similarities globally. The only thing we don't know is how much information is being withheld from the globe, knowing that knowledge is universal. And knowledge belongs to everybody in the world. Not a pope, not a body of people, but the world. And then when we get that knowledge, the problem is, y'all know that that knowledge is encoded in our DNA. So whoever gets a piece, yeah, you see now? You see who got it now? So when you got it, you already know you're the supreme. You already know what it is. You already know what it is dealing with me. You already know what it is. You know what it is. Ain't no fabricating no more. Ain't no mythology. No, that shit dead. What's now is the rebirth. I look just like my people. I am my people. Now you know what reincarnation means. It's the renewing of the mind who you are, your natural body, your natural mind. Yeah, buddy. Natural body, natural mind. Moving on. Let's get back to our complete form and take our rightful place in humanity and the human lexicon. I am grateful for life, living, and being. The discovery itself is a horror story. The discovery of self is a horror story. To see your ancestors give nothing but grace, love, humility, appreciation, fellowship, and to be giving awful deaths, generations of slavery, brutality, and a precipice of pushing a body of people on the verge of extinction. But we survived. I am here. I am my ancestors. I am them because I have their scars. I am them because I have their stories encoded in me. I am them because I feel everything that I have endured. It's in my blood. It's in my actual experiences. I'm a living, walking book of experiences and solutions. So if you continue to walk with me here on the Will This podcast, I guarantee you, we're going to meet at success. Now, that concludes the show. Sorry I didn't give y'all no music, but you know why. But I want y'all to say it with me, though. Come on. Yeah, this part, you get the smile out of it. Come on, say it with me. Come on. The will is yours. Y'all save this as one of your motherfuckers.